shot at winning this ball game. You know, we beat Circle last week, one of the best teams in 4A for this year, or coming into the year anyways. And when I look at Parsons, I don't see why we can't do it. You know, I think Circle is a more deep team, a more complete team than what we're looking at right now. So it'll be up to us or not we limit the mental mistakes and other things of that nature to come out here with a win tonight.
As the rivalry between Parsons and Altamont was renewed last season for the first time since many a year ago, at least it felt like, but we're just glad to have it back. Both these teams fresh in terms of just a new approach since last season because their quarterbacks have grown so much. We'll go ahead and just dive right into that. Parsons beat Labette County last season in Altamont by a score of 39-28, and junior quarterback, he's now a senior, Trey Mack for the Vikings threw for 300 yards in the air and did not have arguably his best receiver in Landon Wheat, who was injured last season. So Trey Mack is going to be someone you have to keep an eye on if you're Roper Whitley and Labette County's defense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Trey Mack brings a lot to the table. Obviously, he's a multi-sport athlete, great baseball player, great basketball player for the Parsons Vikings as well. Really great athlete out there. I mean, when I say athlete, I don't mean that he can only run and stuff. He has used a great ball. We saw last year, great touch, those balls to Jesse Jones.
Yep.
I mean, Trey Mack is legit for the Parsons Vikings, so it's definitely something you got to keep an eye on. I don't think they'll have the same explosiveness without Jesse Jones out there, but from what I've heard, Landon Wheat is outstanding as well.
Yeah.
Great basketball player as well. Jumps for him in track. Jumps out of the gym. He's fast, I heard. He's probably the fastest guy on their team, and that's saying something as they have a lot of speed out there, so it's not something you'd expect from them, but yeah, they're definitely a deep team when it comes to that receiving core.
As Landon Wheat does run a 4.6 40-yard dash, and Coach Scheibe said he's arguably the best athlete in the school. That is a high remark from a very good head coach. Jamarian Washington ran for 85 yards on the ground against Labette County last season in that 39-28 win. That game felt closer than 11 points last year. I remember saying that a lot in our Bowen Pharmacy postgame show. Labette lost by 11, but it sure didn't feel like it. Here's an interesting little food for thought before we send it back to the station for the Coach Price interview. Labette does not return a receiver that caught a ball last year.
Wow.
Trey Vinson, Griff Eaton, Matthew Boyle were the only receivers last year for Labette to catch a football. Jamal Jackson caught one pass last year for 1 yard, but he's not even a receiver. But here's what's interesting, and we found out last week at home against Circle, and we'll dive into that later in our Tank Connection pregame show. Labette has weapons. There's no shortage of those, but I found that quite interesting. In fact, before we send it to that Coach Price interview, I'd like to touch on Parsons' performance at Prairie View, where they beat the Buffaloes 42-8. And they didn't have the most, they scored 42 points and routed the Buffaloes, but Trey Mack only threw for 167 yards, very efficient on 10 of 12 passing. Jamarian Washington struggled, only averaged just over 2 yards a carry, 28 yards on 12 attempts, John. So Prairie View did something right against Washington, but certainly the scoreboard didn't show it. Parsons is highly talented.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, a lot of those games where you look at the raw offensive stats or whatever, if they're just so low, maybe it's the defense usually, right? So, I mean, their defense probably caused a lot of turnovers against Prairie View. I don't have the stats in front of me, so I couldn't tell you that. But based on that, you know, they put up 40 points. Trey Mack only has 160 yards. Jamarian Washington only has 20-something yards, and they put up 40 points. So they probably their defense probably set them up with great field position, forcing the ball out, getting on it, that sort of thing. So expect this defense to come out showing a lot of pressure, try to rattle Kendall Holtzman tonight.
Absolutely. Is now, before we dive in to the rest of our Tank Connection pregame show, we'd like to send it back to the station for the Sports in Kansas interview with Chet Copeland, speaking to the head coach of our Grizzlies, Sean Price. with you. Welcome you back for the rest of our Tank Connection pregame show as we're going to take a step back to last week and talk about Labette County's 40-28 victory in Altamont over the Circle Thunderbirds. As Labette County got down on the first 2 plays of the game, John, Circle just walked into the end zone, not on the second attempt, but that first rushing attempt, they walked in. Labette was down 14-0 on the first 2 plays of the game. And then Labette County, down 15 in the second half, go on a 27-0 run and win it 40-28. Kendall Holtzman threw for 332 yards on 17 completions out of just 23 attempts, threw 5 touchdowns, and ran for 1 on the ground. So it was a lot of fun to watch that Grizzly offense go to work. Tell me what you saw from your eyes, John, as an ex-player for Labette County, in your eyes last week.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw a different kind of energy with those guys, for sure. I mean, they just had a certain swagger about them. You know, when they did get down 15, you know, up here, you know, we went through a lot of losing these past couple years. So I thought, man, we just really let this one slip away from us off those first 2 plays. But those guys didn't see it like that. They understood, hey, we just weren't lined up in the right spot. We let that happen. They took accountability and they fixed it, right? And then they went on the big runs. Right, our offense, you know, explosive, and as a defense, you know, when your offense can just, you know, just score at will like that, it lets you play looser and freer. Yeah. And we saw that in that second half when our defense started to clamp down. You know, they were more aggressive, and they made plays. Our offense turned around and did the same thing. So they feed off each other. You know, that's something we haven't had these past couple years. You know, we've always been up on one side of the ball, and down on the other. This year, I think we're starting to find our equally, if I could say, you know, our middle.
Right. I totally understand what you're trying to say, John. And you know, you think, well, this is a much different opponent tonight. Circle was a ranked team. Labette County was not supposed to win that game. Circle was a ranked team. Now Labette County, in a poll that I got from Coach Price, was top 10 in 4A. Labette County is in some rankings. Now, let me make a comparison here. The big talk on all the sports radio was Colorado's upset at TCU. First year with Coach Sanders, a lot of newcomers, and while neither of those things are true for Labette County, the principle that it was a shock that Labette County and Colorado won last weekend. Now the question is, it was just 1 week. Can they do it again? Yeah. Are you going to make judgments and rankings after just 1 week? So how do you approach that situation, John? Labette County won a game they weren't supposed to, but afterwards it certainly looked like they were supposed to. How do you approach the whole week of practice and then coming in tonight? Because you can't ride too high. It's 1 week.
Yeah, definitely not, and I think that's what Coach Price told those guys. You know, if I was a head coach or something, I'd be on those guys and be like, block out the noise. It's cool, yeah, we knocked off a ranked team, but we have another game next week, right? It doesn't matter until we keep doing it again. Let the results speak for themselves. Just lock in, get the job done each day. You know, it's just one of those things. Your approach should never really change. It never should. It should be consistent. You know, same flow in practice, everything. You got to get in a routine. But this week, Parsons week. Price told those guys, yeah, we had a nice ranked win. This week's even bigger, I feel. You know, we get this win. It's going to make such a huge momentum swing for us, you know?
Yeah.
We carry that into these next weeks as we start to get into SEK play, things like that, and potentially compete for our SEK league title.
As Jamal Jackson ran for 90 yards on the ground, Xavier Phillips caught 100 yards worth of receptions and 2 touchdowns. Nolan Nash, a freshman, on 3 receptions, had 100 yards and 1 touchdown. Jamal Jackson, 2 receptions for 70 yards and a touchdown. Kagan Bates, 3 receptions, 42 yards and a touchdown. A lot of weapons, a lot of fun last week in Altamont. We'll see if Labette can do it again. Right now, I'd like to send it back to the station as I had a talk with quarterback Kendall Holtzman of Labette County. Take a listen. We're joined now by quarterback of the Labette County Grizzlies, Kendall Holtzman, as part of our Tank Connection pregame show. As Kendall, you're coming off of a game in which a year ago you lost to that team 50-0, and then you beat them at home in week 1 this year, 40-28. You threw for 332 yards, threw for 5 touchdowns in the air, ran for 1 on the ground. What was going through your mind after that game, and how high was the locker room afterwards?
I mean, it starts off with the line and the receivers. They did a really good job. That's probably our team this year compared to last year. We're like more of a team this year. Our chemistry is just right there. Like last year, I mean, we were a team, but this year, like the vibe is just completely different, you know?
Yeah.
Like we've grown up together, and we're there, you know? Like I think we finally have it. And about the game, I mean, the line, JB, Lane Simmons, Chris Stevens, Michael Reed, and Lucas Hayward, probably the best line I've ever had compared to any other team I've been on. The receivers are just outstanding. Xavier Phillips, Kagan Bates, Nolan Nash, and Lawrence Holt. I mean, we've lost a lot of guys. Like from last year, we've lost Griffin, Trey, Matthew, but those guys have filled in really well.
I saw an interview. Chet Copeland of Sports in Kansas came to one of your practices and talked to you afterwards, and I give you the credit, and I respect you for saying this. You gave that credit right to your O-line. Talk just a little bit more about that stone wall that you have up front.
The O-line is just like they're so good at what they do. When they're out there, like they're really focused. They know the plays. We've spent a lot of time at practice on learning the plays and like memorizing it. So we got like an armband now. Like the first drive, we didn't really get it down. It's been like the first quarter, you know, we were still getting used to everything. But as the game went on, they got it down really well. So it starts with Lane too. Lane's the leader of that offensive line. Lane really gets onto him.
Kendall, tell me what you know about Parsons. They bring back guys as well. Defense is led by Cade Brown. There's going to be some bright lights tomorrow in Marvel Park, packed with one side red, one side blue. What are you thinking about that Parsons defense, the atmospheres? You've never played there. I haven't ever called a game there.
Never played there. I mean, I've played there like flag football, but that's been a long time ago, you know. Haven't played there high school anytime. Their defense, they're pretty good, led by Cade Brown. He's a good athlete, you know. Shiby teaches them well. They got Chandler Henson, used to go to LC. I know he's going to be pretty good. He's going to be hungry.
Yes.
He's going to be hungry to beat us. And I don't really know much about their defense. I know their corners are going to be pretty good. They have really good corners. It's going to be a tough matchup. But their offense is pretty stacked too. Trey Mack at QB, lots of experience. He's a very good quarterback.
Yes.
Running back. Big boy, can run the ball really good. Not as fast, but power back. Their receiver, J.J. Kendrick, probably their best receiver. We got to watch out for him because he'll run the wheel, he'll run the slant and the fade really good. And then Landon Wheat, the tall 6'4" kid. We got to watch out for him too, you know.
Absolutely. A lot of guys to watch out for that'll be wearing a Viking on their helmet. I want to take a step back in time a little bit, Kendall. You've started since you were a sophomore, and obviously a lot of growth and progression in your game, both with that right arm as well as what's between your ears. So talk about, Kendall, how you've grown physically and mentally in the last few years of starting varsity football.
You know, sophomore year was a pretty rough year. We didn't win a game that year. And I kind of put that on me since I was new to the game, like as a varsity player. We didn't really do very well that year, but I learned a lot from that year, and we came back the next year, played better, had a better team, you know. But this year I feel like my confidence is really high, and I know the game a lot better. I've been going to a lot of camps. I've had a QB trainer, and he's taught me a lot about the game, taught me a lot about the reads and stuff, about plays. I'm finally able to, like, make my own plays and audible out of what I need to do. But it's been fun. This summer was really good for us.
That's great, Kendall. It's been fun to see your growth for sure, and I know you put in a lot of hard work, as does the whole team in the off season. Thanks for sitting down with me and taking the time out of your evening. Any remaining or any last words you'd like to give to Grizzly Nation ahead of tomorrow night?
Just show up, be loud, be proud, and go Grizzlies.
This has been a sit-down with quarterback Kendall Holtzman of the LC Grizzlies, and we'll have more of the Tank Connection pregame show on tap after this break on KLKC Parsons. Senior quarterback Kendall Holtzman to sit down with me last evening, just get a few of his thoughts as you just witnessed. So very nice young man there in Kendall Holtzman, whom we hope to see light up the green grass in front of us. As you can go ahead and throw the Tank Connection pregame show on there, Caleb, as I'm talking to our live stream man. And speaking of that, if you're listening and would like to watch and listen Trust me, I like the radio too, but on YouTube, hopefully it's working well now. Fingers crossed, as there is a roof here at Marvel Park, so the signal isn't the best, but it's been green for a while. You can type in KLKC Sports on YouTube, and there we should be. As wow, that PA announcer is quite loud here at Marvel Park as the speakers are aimed right at us. Not the best setup, but nothing we can do as the cheerleaders wearing white are on the field holding up a sign that says, "Welcome to Viking Country," as the hype music begins to play, and the Parsons Vikings on the south end zone of Marvel Park down on the field are getting ready to burst through the banner, and the Viking fans below us will erupt in cheer. Parsons Vikings in their home blues with gold numbers and gold helmets. As Labette County, I do believe they haven't emerged, but they will be in their road whites, John?
Yep.
Yes. So it'll be a clash of the blue and white on the outside, but the red and gold and the blue and gold in those veins on the grass this evening. As you can hear, the Parsons Vikings have made their way onto the field, and Nasir Haygood, a 5'7 junior, does a backflip and a handspring, and boy, are those some athletic Vikings down on the field.
Yeah, that was impressive. I know last year we saw some athletic display from the Grizzlies. You know, Glenn Price with those crutches, if folks remember that. But I don't think I've ever seen someone do that in a set of pads and a helmet. He looks like he could be a gymnast or something, like he's done tumbling or something. Have you ever seen some of those people do that, Jack?
I have, and I hurt my back putting my shorts on a week ago, so I don't really affiliate with back handsprings and different things like that. 5.5 minutes until kickoff. John and I will chat it up for about another 30 seconds or so and then send it to you, Amanda, for tonight's scene setter. But John, this is going to be fun. There hasn't been this type of anxiousness surrounding this rivalry in some time. Both teams 1-0. Parsons more so expected to win their week 1 game. Labette, boy, did they raise some eyebrows. Some of the media attention that they have gotten has been like nothing some of these young guys or even Kendall have seen, as I'm curious to see how Labette responds to this past week, maybe as they felt a little bit high off the ground due to last week's perhaps unexpected victory. 5 minutes until kick, just under. We're going to send it back to Amanda for tonight's scene setter of Labette County Grizzly basketball. Football.
Whoa.
There had been a 5-year drought taking place within the Labette County football program. A drought that consisted of 5 straight years of beginning the season 0-1. In those 5 seasons, dating back to the fall of 2018 when the drought began, Labette had just scored a combined 20 points in the last 5 season openers, being shut out in 3 of those games. One of which taking place last year in Towanda, Kansas, when our Grizzlies were rocked by the T-Birds by a score of 50-0. This year, Labette County got another crack at the ranked Thunderbirds of Circle, this time in Grizzly Country. The start was eerily similar to last year's bout with the T-Birds, and Grizzly fans were prepared for another beatdown. Kick is good yet again, 14-0 Circle, 8 minutes to go first quarter. It's been a long 4 minutes for Grizzly Nation. But the Grizzlies, led by senior quarterback Kendall Holtzman, settled in and found a groove, breaking the ice with a 16-yard touchdown from sophomore Kagan Bates. Here's the snap. It almost hit Holt. Holtzman keeps it, floats it, caught by Bates, stays on his feet, and into the end zone. Touchdown, LC Grizzlies. Kagan wasn't the only second-year standout to find pay dirt in the first half for Labette. Jamal Jackson took one to the house from 65 yards out. This is a big play. He steps back. He's going to throw off his back foot. It's caught by Jamal. Can he get there? Jamal Jackson way out into the secondary. Nothing but green grass. And that's a TD for the LC Grizzlies. 21-13 is the score. JJ turning on the Jets and pounding it in for 6. 21-13 in favor of Circle was the halftime score in Altamont. But Labette did not face their largest deficit of the game until a few minutes into the second half. Circle stretched it back out to a 28-13 advantage on their first drive of the second half. Little did Circle know that this was the last time in which they would score for the rest of the affair. The Grizzly defense, led by junior linebacker Roper Whitley, held the door open for Holtzman and company to score 27 unanswered points. Holtzman under center, it's a QB sneak, pushing, the pile is in! TDLC Grizzlies, 28-19 is the score. Here's Bates in motion, they fake to him, they go to the end zone, and it is caught! Touchdown, LC Grizzlies! It is Xavier Phillips on the left pylon. Bates in motion, it's a pass, Holtzman, three-step drop, scrambles right side, throws across his body, it's a good one! It's caught, Noah Nash! Touchdown, wow. Grizzlies! After a muffed punt by the T-Birds, the Grizzlies tossed it in one more time into the hands of senior wide receiver Xavier Phillips, whom finished with 2 total touchdowns to make it the final score of 40-28. Now, can Labette travel to Parsons and begin the young season 2-0 against a highly talented and explosive Vikings squad? Find out next on 106.7 KLKC Parsons. As we welcome you back, Grizzly fans, to Marvel Park, and that wraps up your Tank Connection pregame show. We are at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. Jack Leak, John Kohler with you. Captains, John, did you end up getting those captains written down? Go ahead and tell us who tonight's captains are for both squads, as they are at midfield getting ready to flip the coin.
Yeah, for the Vikings, it'll be number 5, Trey Mack. Number 16, the kicker, Jace Quirin. Number 58, Brody Boss. And number 9, Cade Brown. And for the Grizzlies tonight, a little bit change up. Jamal Jackson was the captain tonight. Kendall Holtzman, Wayne Simmons, and Chris Stevens were our captains for the evening.
As those last two guys are part of that Grizzly O-line that has been great for them, at least they were last week. Quarterback Kendall Holtzman, if you weren't able to catch the interview we had with him during our pregame show moments ago, he spoke so highly and gave all the credit to his offensive line. A little bit of trot in their step from all 8 captains heading back to their designated sidelines, as Labette County is going to be on the east side of the about 80% shaded football field in front of us, as they're on the east side. Parsons is below us on the west side. Sun is setting behind us to the west. John, there's nothing like it, as we are at the top behind all the fans. It's kind of a half dome, if you will. There's a roof over the seating that slopes down towards the field. We are above the Grizzly section, and the Vikings section's on the other side to our right. A lot of people here at Marvel Park.
Yeah, definitely. We saw it last year as well, just a packed crowd, as this is a big thing in this community, these two teams getting together and playing this game. So, we hope for the best tonight. We hope both teams play clean, no one gets hurt. We all get out of here with the sense, wow, what a game. It's just one of those things. You don't want to see anything go wrong tonight. You just want to have a nice, clean game, But it's such a big deal for us as the season goes on.
Marvel Park lets out a pretty loud shout as Jace Quirin, a potential should be, and is right to left. Labette, should they not fumble on the special teams return, will work the field left to right to begin the game. And we are underway from Parsons, Kansas for the first time in 7 years. I believe that's Lawrence Holt, catches it at the 3-yard line, tries to get around the left bend, and is slowly brought down at the Grizzly 24. It'll be 1st and 10 for Kendall Holtzman and the Grizzly offense.
Yeah, as you know, coming into this game, we knew Jace Quirin had quite a leg, but man, I don't think I've seen a high school kicker kick a ball that far, just right in front of our end zone, as Jamal Jackson, Barrett Heston kind of collided, and Or did I say Jamal? I meant Lawrence Holt. Lawrence really didn't get any momentum going on that one, so. But not bad to start in field position. We got it out about the 20, so pretty typical.
Grizzlies get set. Cheerleaders cheering, fans welcoming some butterflies into their stomachs. There's nothing like it. Quite an atmosphere in Parsons. Jackson to the right of Holtzman. Fakes the jet sweep, gives to Jackson, wide open space, and he's going to nearly get the first down. It'll be 2nd down and 1 for Labette after a gain of 9.
Yeah, they brought Lawrence Holt in the jet motion, brought the linebacker over. He faked it to Lawrence, gave it to Jamal. There's no one in that gap where that linebacker was, creating a hole for Jamal.
Same formation for Labette, except the receivers are diced up differently. 2 left, 2 right. On the near side is fantastic freshman standout Nolan Nash. 1 safety deep for Parsons. It's Makai Baugh. Jackson shifts behind Kendall. Freeze, and he takes it. That's probably going to be a false start as Kendall clapped his hands. No one moved, and then he clapped him again, and there went the play and the flag. It'll be 2nd and 6, maybe a short 7 for our Grizzlies.
Yeah, just a case of early game jitters, hopefully. Get that out of the way, and then we'll start playing a clean game from here on out. This is such a big game, and, these players are feeling that emotion in it right now, and just they're probably nervous, to be honest.
Yes, it's definitely a highly anticipated game. Labette dealing with some pressure perhaps that they haven't felt in years. Same defensive set for Parsons. 1 solo safety with his heels on the 35. Kendall takes the snap, another give to Jamal, and he's met at the line this time. Nowhere to go for Jamal Jackson. Loses half a yard, 3rd down and 7 for Labette coming up on drive number 1. 10:45 to go and counting, first quarter.
Yeah, senior Cade Brown of the Vikings, we talked about a little bit in the pregame show, just came through and blew Jamal up. I mean, we didn't see this last year, so this would be something for coaches to scheme against. Cade Brown, special ball player for the Vikings.
Same set for Labette County. 5 down linemen. Parsons in some press coverage with their cornerbacks. 3rd down and a long 6 for Kendall Holtzman. He claps, takes the snap, good protection, looks across the middle, throws, and it is caught by Kagan Bates at the 35, and he'll just fall down as he's brought down by Caden Berry. Look to play the safety on that set. Big 3rd down pickup by Labette.
Yeah, they took advantage of, who did you say was back there for
I believe it was Caden Berry.
Caden Berry, yeah, they took advantage of that one safety that was deep. Kagan went past the linebacker, found a nice hole right there in the middle of the defense.
That was a big pickup on the road. Now you don't have to take a possession to settle in. You've hopefully already have began to settle in after that big pickup on 3rd down. 1st and 10, nose of the Pigskins on the left hash, working left to right is Labette. On the 35-yard line, Holt in motion. Here's the snap, fakes the sweep to him, gives it to Jamal. Big space for JJ, tries to turn on the Jets and falls down at the 50 as he somersaults and pops to his feet. Grizzly fans ecstatic below us. 1st and 10, Labette at the 50.
Yeah, similar thing we saw in the first play of the game was that jet motion, except it was out of a different look this time. It freed up the hole for Jamal to explode through.
1st and 10 at midfield. Labette County opening drive, 9:15 on the scoreboard on the southeast corner of the field. Vikings written in cursive in white and a Viking head in yellow just below it sit at midfield, which is where the Grizzly offense is set up. Ball still on the left hash, 1 safety deep for Parsons. Barrett Heston shifts to the left side of the line. Here's the snap, another give, left counter Jamal. Decent room it looked like, but then he was tripped up near the line. Gain of 1, 2nd and 9 for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, it looked like number 3, Caden Berry, came up and made a play on Jamal there, as there really wasn't much room to work with, but he still managed to find a way to gain a couple yards, which I kind of like how they're using Barrett as an H-back type. Throw him in motion, let him lead block.
Trips right for Labette County. Xavier Phillips, leading returning receiver from last year, wearing number 3. On the far side in press coverage, they're going to give him some special attention. Nolan Nash, the farthest man out to the right near the Parsons sideline. Holtzman takes the snap. It's a handoff up the middle. Jackson sheds a couple tackles and is brought down near the S on Vikings. And that's going to be just past the 45 into Viking territory at the 43. Another big 3rd down for Labette, and if they don't get it, they very well might go for it. 3rd down and 3 for Altamont. Labette County, rather.
Yeah, you know, actually, I'll just send this right back to you as they're getting ready to snap the ball here, Jack.
A little bit of a hurry-up offense, huh, John?
Yeah.
3rd and 3 for Labette. Now they pause just a little bit to look to Tanner Russell on the sideline. We'll name the coaches the next chance that we get. Big 3rd and 3 for Labette. Opening drive in Parsons. Jamal up the middle. He's been busy, and he's going to get the first down. Move the chains for the LC Grizzlies. They've been grounding and pounding when Parsons may have been anticipating a little bit more air attack.
Yeah, you know, I hate to say it like this, but, you know, we just saw the Chiefs-Lions game last night. Jamal Jackson runs very similar to how Jahmyr Gibbs of the Lions does. I know
does.
Breaks a lot of tackles. Not a very big guy, but he makes guys miss.
1st and 10, Labette converted on 2 third downs this drive, more so on the back of Jamal Jackson, but Kendall did throw for a nice first down on 3rd and 6 to Kagan Bates prior in the drive. Holt in motion as usual from left to right. He's going to get it this time, going to try to seal the edge, and a nice open field tackle made by Caden Berry. Very nice play by the junior.
Yeah, it looked like Nolan Nash out here, the freshman wide receiver. He's a freshman, probably hasn't blocked a whole lot of guys in his life, so I know Coach Price trusts him, so if they run something like that again, they'll definitely try to run it to Nolan Nash's size. He's quite a big freshman, you know. He's a pretty big guy out there, 6 foot, probably 160, 170, somewhere in that range, so not a bad guy to run the ball towards.
As he actually lost a few yards, 2nd and 13 for Labette. A long drive for the Grizzlies. 6:15 to go first quarter. Holtzman with it, takes it, pressure, dumped, 50-yard line, 3rd down and a mile coming up for the Grizzlies. DeMonte Kendrick on the sack. What'd you see there on the O-line breaking down, John?
I mean, they just got beat. I mean, there's nothing to it. They know they got beat. It's just not much of anything really working for there, as 3 or 4 of our guys got beat right off the start. So it's 3rd down, though, so you try to make this one as manageable as possible, whether or not you go with the, I don't know, tunnel screen to a receiver or something. Just get closer to make 4th down if you want to go for it manageable.
As it is 3rd down, and what does it read? 21. Here's the snap. Kendall's just going to launch it. Nolan Nash downfield, pressured and batted down. Nice defense by the cornerback, number 6, Jason Smart, as he turned to face the ball. Something we didn't see the T-Bird corners do a lot, which cost them some penalties, but a nice smart play by Jason Smart, no pun intended.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's something the Parsons coaching staff has said all week to the corners and the defensive backs. Throw the ball, you know. It's just one of those things. We tried a 50-50 ball if no one worked last week. Teams have seen that. It may not work as well this week.
5:30 to go. Labette's going to have to punt after a long drive sustained by mainly Jamal Jackson. The ex-Viking Landon Jones set to punt. He adjusts, he kicks. It's a backwards spinner, and it lands at the Viking 40, but does get a Grizzly bounce down to the Parsons 33, which is where they will set up shop. So Parsons still has to go across midfield, which is what you always want, rather than put them on your side of the field. So we'll see what Labette's defense can do.
Yeah, I'm surprised that one wasn't blocked, as they seemed to rush 3 or 4 guys off that right edge, and Landon didn't get the ball off sooner. It was going to be a blocked punt and maybe went the other way.
Roper Whitley led the Grizzlies in tackles last Friday with 8 total tackles. Chris Stevens just behind him with 6. Those two combined for 4 tackles for loss behind the line of scrimmage. Kagan Bates, safety, near the Viking at midfield. Here's Washington, met at the line of scrimmage, and he's buried. Gain a half a yard, 2nd and 9. It looks like it might have been Roper in there on the tackle with the 2 other linemen.
Yeah, it was Roper and Tate Claiborne, as those two took off that second half last week, and they continue their momentum into this week with an excellent play right there to stop Jamarion right in his tracks.
It is 2nd and 9. Mack, the quarterback, takes the snap, fakes it to Washington, gives it to Wheat, tries to get the edge across the 40, and is tackled by Lawrence Holt. That is hard to do, especially against an athlete like Landon Wheat.
Yeah, what they're doing there is try to take advantage of how far off our safeties were and try to throw a block out there and free up Landon Wheat. Lawrence made a great tackle there, as if he didn't. Landon was probably off to the races, you know. He just went for the ankles, managed to get a hold of him and send him back.
3rd and 3. We'll see if Labette can force Coach Jeff Scheibe to make an early 4th down decision. Washington shifts to the right hip of Mack. Mack takes the snap. They're going to give it to Jamarion, and he's hit and tumbles forward for the first down, a gain of 5. 1st and 10, Parsons at their own 46.
Yeah, I really think how we're going to dictate this running game the Vikings have is our defensive ends. You know, we said it last week. You know, they can't get sucked in and free up that edge, as that's where the Vikings are looking to attack this week, as they've seen the Thunderbirds gash us time and time again last week off the edge.
4:30, make that 4:20 first quarter. It's flown by here in Parsons. 0-0 is the score. Labette got the ball to start the game. Here's Mack after the first down. Ball's on the deck. Ball's on the deck, and it's picked up by Parsons. I do believe Kagan Bates says otherwise.
Yeah.
Kagan Bates says otherwise.
Yeah, Jamarian got up, but
As
he doesn't have the football.
We're waiting, and
Grizzly football.
Labette County football. Turnover Vikings. Roper Whitley chest bumps Kagan Bates. And boy, it looked like Washington fell on that ball.
Yeah.
Or another offensive lineman.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really get a clean handoff out of it and just kind of started bobbling it and it fell on the ground. It looked like he was going to be wanting to get it after, I believe it was Jarman, couldn't quite get to it. I don't know who got in there for us. Did you manage to see a number or anything like that?
No, I thought Parsons dove on it. So I was looking for numbers on their offensive line, and I look up, and Labette's jubilating. But, boy, that's a gift from the Parsons Vikings that usually don't make those mistakes. 1st and 10, Kendall Holtzman and company at the Viking 45. Holt in motion as usual. Here's the snap. Nearly hits Holt. Holtzman keeps it, and he's spun for a gain of about 1. Coach Price really trying to twist my tongue. They're on 1st and 10. It'll be 2nd and 9 for Labette County.
Yeah, something we've seen a lot so far tonight is that motion and try to draw an extra defender out of the box and open up a hole for the running game. It just didn't quite work out that way, as Cade Brown, the linebacker, read it all the way through and made a great play on Kendall.
2nd and 9, gain of
cramp, hopefully, something like that. So he seems to be all good now.
He is. He's now jogging off the field. I'm not saying he's going to come back. I'm not making assumptions. I'm shocked he just jogged off the field after the first 30 seconds of him going down. So Labette County, after a long pass, is the snap. Biggest play of the game so far. Holtzman throws it. Nice one, caught by Holt near the 40. Great throw, great catch, great route. First down, Grizzlies.
Yeah, they had a big screen out to the outside for Barrett Heston. And that freed up enough space on the inside for Lawrence Holt to kind of slip in there. So they didn't switch with the corner and the linebacker, safety, whatever you want to call them right there. It's kind of hard to describe to the people on the radio what you saw, but if you're watching it live, you know what I'm talking about, as that was just a big play right there for the Grizzlies.
That was huge. 1st and 10 at their own 38. Lawrence Holt, big time reception. 11:23 and counting. 14-13 Parsons. Here's the snap. A give to Jamal, nothing. 2nd down and a dozen coming up as Jamal's ran so hard, but the Grizzly O-line seems a little depleted as John Broadwell is out of the game as he got hurt in the first half. As they're about a player or two deep of an offensive line, but that Parsons front is swamping them.
Yeah, I mean, they're just teeing off on them. They're not getting much push on the O-line, and they're just, hate to say it, we're just getting beat back every time, not getting a push for that run game to go.
2 receivers to the right. It's Holt and Heston. Here's the snap. It's a pass. He's pressured hard. Underhand pass to Jamal. Decent little pickup to the 42. 40, actually. They're going to say that's where his knee came down, as that was enough to just get ahead of the original line of scrimmage by a couple yards. So another massive 3rd down. It's 3rd and 8 for Kendall Holtzman and his offense. 10:20 to go in the game.
Yeah, you wonder if they're going to try something similar to what they did on the last 3rd down on the other side and check the other duo safety corner over there. But they're coming out with trips, so you wonder if it's going to be a rollout or something like that as well.
Wouldn't be surprised if Parsons blitzed. Here's a pass. It's a slant in and out of the hands of Xavier Phillips. He knew he should have had it as he kind of looked at his hands for a minute like, man, what just happened? As it came in hot, but it was a well-placed ball, and Labette's going to punt away. That hurts.
Yeah, that's a back That's a backbreaker. I've said that multiple times tonight, but got to have those. You got to make the plays when it counts, and in games like this, that could be a turning point in this game. You know, the Vikings could very well just go down and score, and then we have to go do something else, you know, on offense. We have to find something that's going to work and start converting.
Landon Jones back to punt for Labette County. His toes are on the 30. Parsons has come close to blocking multiple punts as Landon's going to square up and kick a high one. It spins, lands at the 50, and takes a big
bounce.
Grizzly bounce. Oh my goodness, about a 15-yard Grizzly bounce all the way to the Parsons 41-yard line. So Landon putting a little bit of juice on the ball there in favor of Labette. We'd like to thank a few sponsors for making tonight's broadcast possible. SEK Orthopedics, Doctors Meister, Mosier, and Morris, as well as Labette Community College, Forbes Hoffman Funeral Homes, Clemens Insurance Agency, Labette Health, Woodworth Enterprises, Carson Wall Funeral Homes, Commercial Bank, and Eye Care Associates of Parsons. Well, Parsons can score and Labette still have a chance, but if they score and get a 2-point conversion, that's tough. We'll see what our Grizzly D can do. 2 straight stops for them. Here's a handoff to Washington around the left side. He kind of trips and then is brought down. Roper Whitley or Tayton Claiborne in there. That's Roper Whitley. 2nd and 10 coming up for Parsons.
So I feel like the Grizzlies have done a great job on Jamarion tonight, as he really hasn't been too impactful out there, as he's kind of been shut down. It's just been the sweeps to Tate Phillips, the quick passes to Kendrick, you know, and not making tackles. That's really hurt the Grizzlies tonight.
Multiple down linemen for Parsons, maybe anticipating another run. Low snap and a false start, or illegal procedure rather. As I found out at the Jamboree that there is no such thing as a false start in high school. It's illegal procedure. Never knew that.
That's a common misconception, but it's pretty much the same thing, right? Got to have some kind of false start sort of thing. It's just called different.
Right.
What you see in the NFL and the college, and it means something a little bit different, but pretty much the same thing. Sorry.
You're good. 2nd and 14 for Parsons. Now at their own 37. 9 minutes and counting. Vikings up a point on the Grizzlies. They rush to the line out of the huddle. Only one receiver out in the flats. Here's the snap. A crossing pattern is caught. Nice play by Parsons, and that's a first down for the Vikes. It took about 6 Grizzlies to bring J.J. Kendrick to the ground, and Parsons moves the chains across midfield.
Yeah, Bradley Black just got beat on that route. He's a linebacker out there, and I know he's not used to covering those quick slot guys, but man, J.J. is such a special receiver out there. I mean, he just planted one step and he was gone right there, and thankfully someone came up and met him, and we were able to bring him to the ground. So if not, it would have been a house call for JJ, as he's just such an explosive receiver for this Vikings offense.
I'm shocked Parsons hasn't ran that delayed fake handoff more to suck in the Grizzlies secondary. They do it again. Here's a jet sweep. This could be big. Phillips way out into the secondary, and he's going to be brought down near the Grizzly 22-yard line, as Parsons is just now starting to bring a little bit of trickery out of the bag, as a good time to use it. One of the most important drives of the game for your offense.
Yeah, the rushing defense of this Grizzly unit has always been shaky. You know, the past couple years, it's been very shaky, and you've always, as a friend, held your breath. It's just going to be when they break loose. And on that time it was. Grizzlies have a great chance here to make something happen, though.
1st and 10 Parsons at the Grizzly 22. Mack, he'll keep it. No one there for Labette, and he'll get all the way near the 13, as no one was even really looking at Mack. 7-yard gain for the quarterback.
Yeah, Hudson Baker, the defensive end, didn't even look at him. He just went inside. As I don't know what quite happened on the defensive line, what he thought was going to happen, but there wasn't a fake handoff or nothing. It was just a designed quarterback sweep. So if you're the defensive end or linebacker there, your main job is to watch the ball, not let it get outside of you, and not let that happen. So got to make up for it right here and make a stop.
If I'm Parsons, I'm going for 2 and not thinking twice about it. That might put the game away if they get it. Should they score, that is. Here's Washington, right counter, first down Vikes to the Grizzly 10. No, 11 So they'll still be able to get a first down should they spot the ball at the 11.
Yeah, and he's just watched his clock just slowly tick down, 6:50 and counting as the Grizzlies are hoping something happens here, a turnover or something to get the ball back into the Grizzlies offense's hands. And that decision to go for 2, is starting to loom now. As we're down to point, it gets going.
They do spot it at the 10. First and goal for Parsons. 3 receivers to the left. Wheat, Kendrick, and Phillips. Here's a little toss. Bill's on the deck! And Mack is going to fall on it, as that was not as forward, or at least as definitely it was forward as the one earlier in the game, as that one was definitely a lateral. We have an injured Viking?
Yeah. Washington, the running back. Looks like he may have fell awkwardly, a cramp, something, as he's not really moving too much. I know he rolled over, so that's a good sign, but may have hit his head or something when he fell.
He's laying pretty still, being tended to. We're going to step aside for a 1-minute break on KLKC Parsons.
My name is Bria, and I'm a pharmacist at Bowen Pharmacy. I'm here today to tell you about one of our patient programs, Meds to Beds. Bowen Pharmacy South is located in the medical office building at Labette Health. Our staff works closely with the doctors, nurses, and social care workers to ensure that your transition out of the hospital is an easier and more convenient experience for you and your loved ones. If you are having inpatient or outpatient surgery, we will get your medications directly from your doctor and deliver them right to your hospital bed. If you are having a baby, we will get your medications or anything else that you may need to get your family home without the hassle of making several stops along the way. Whether you're here for a few hours or a few days, we are here at Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South to help get you well without any interruption in transition of care. Just ask for Meds to Beds. At Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South, we are here for you today and we are here for you tomorrow.
Good news if you're someone listening on our radio station 106.7 or KLKC Sports live stream is Jamarian Washington came off the field under his own power. Great sign there as Chandler Henson, the ex-Grizzly, transferred to Parsons last year, is on to run for Parsons. Back up to Washington. They have 3rd down and goal over there. I think it's 2nd.
I don't know. We hope the refs don't notice that one, though, and hope we get a quick 3 down and out. As if you're the Vikings,
I could have swore it's 2nd down.
I think if you're the Vikings, you have to go for it on 4th. I don't think you bring Quirin out. It wouldn't make a difference because we don't have that threat of kicking the ball. So,
sure. As they leave it 3rd down, it's 2nd down on the scoreboard, but 3rd down on the yard marker down there. We'll see what they do. If Parsons scores, it won't matter. As Henson's going to settle in the slot on the left side. Empty set for Mack. Here's the snap. He rolls out to his left side. Couple blockers in front. Tries to get the edge and can't quite get it. Gets down to the 7. That was a good spot by the near official.
So it should have been a block in the back down here on the sideline with Landon Wheat and Lawrence Holt.
As it's 4th down. The referee even has his fist clenched as 4th down.
Oh, no, Jack, I wasn't paying attention to the down marker. It may actually be 4th down.
I very well could be wrong, but I swear that this should be 3rd down. I'll probably get a text here in a minute saying that I'm a doofus, but that's just what I thought.
Yeah, as the coaching staff down here is signaling 3.
Yeah.
And the refs are not budging.
As it's 3rd down on the scoreboard, too. I'm telling you,
And the white hat is holding his ground. He is confident it is 3.
Now they're going to stop and talk with Coach Scheibe, who's irate. As I'm on Scheibe's side at the time being with the intel that I have now, that being information developed by me, myself, and I. But we're going to step aside. Well, no. I don't want to miss this play. Let's keep it here as I can finish off reading our sponsors from earlier. Labette Bank, the Bartlett Co-op, Labette Center for Mental Health Services, Community National Bank, Tank Connection, Wood Insurance Center, USD 506, the corner store, and Olson Ace Hardware.
As I don't really think you, as a white hat or an official, when you've already stood your ground out there and said no, it's 4th down, you can just go and change it after talking to the official, right? It bring up some stuff. I know if this happens as they bring them in together.
As Parsons does go ahead and signal a timeout, maybe to give the refs a little bit more incentive to talk, as Scheibe's not even talking to his offense. He's both hands on his hips looking at the referee crew that are standing at the 15-yard line. So many things have taken place this evening that make this rivalry special, not in terms of tension or anything goofy. It's been a clean atmosphere, a clean game, and I love seeing that for sure. But I just mean in terms of special, unique ways of these teams going at it. You have a long kickoff return. You have a situation like this, a bit of a dispute. Multiple things have taken place, and it's just been fun here in Parsons. As Scheibe and an assistant coach of his just watching the refs.
As I don't know the rules on this, but
I hope they get it right. I want it right. I think it's 3rd down, and I think it should be corrected. I don't want anything to loom in the headlines or loom in the conversations. I don't want this to end this way.
Yeah, definitely. But if you're a fan of the Grizzlies, you're kind of hoping they don't.
Sure. As we did try to fire back up the live stream for the 4th quarter, and I think it's been working. So we can see, we do have the footage, and I think Parsons is live streaming as well. But the Grizzly defense is juicing up Grizzly Nation down here to our lower left. A nice student section for the Grizzlies as Scheibe's still talking to the white hat.
Wonder how long is this allowed to go on? How long are they going to allow to, stay out there and talk about this? As once again, I don't have the Acacia rule book in front of me, so if there's any officials listening to you, reach out. Let one of us know about this, but it's been a couple minutes now, and you wonder if they're just going to say, hey, we messed up, we can't do nothing about it. Let's just get back out there and play football.
They're still discussing. We'll see if they change it. As the white hat walks over. 4th down is still on the chain gang sign.
Oh.
I would have taken a break, but when I do, they'll resolve the issue. I promise you that. As now we might be getting an answer. Coach Price looks frustrated, so maybe they're going to change it.
Man, this is a long break.
Let's go ahead and step aside for 30 seconds on KLKC Parsons.
With many years of combined experience, Eye Care Associates of Parsons has set the framework in providing comprehensive eye health examinations for all ages and routine vision care for families throughout the 4-state area. Our optometrists and staff provide remarkable care with state-of-the-art technology to help with diagnosis and management of eye health conditions. Give us a call or visit our website to schedule your next eye exam. Eye Care Associates of Parsons. Experience modern eye care.
Welcome back, Grizzly fans. And what do you know? No decision made by the referee crew, as I know this is coming from someone who doesn't know the rules, and I know this very well is not allowed. But hey, we have the footage. Someone needs to run down there with a tablet and say, hey, here's what happened, and then we can get this resolved. Because obviously none of them know, or else they would have come to a conclusion.
And I think
sorry for thinking practically. Not saying they're not, but hey, we got a live stream. Let's go show them the live feed.
Yeah, and that's some of the trouble with.
Yeah, I know you can't do that. I'm just
We're not there yet. College, NFL, sure, why not? You have the resources to do that. 4A high school football in Kansas.
Yeah, I get it.
Very
sure.
doubtful.
I'd be doing the same thing if I were them. I just have nothing else to talk about.
And this is kind of, I'm not going to lie, this is getting a little bit outrageous. This has been at least 4 to 5 minutes of a delay to decide whether it's third down or fourth down. I understand it's a big moment in the game, but you got 4 officials out there. Surely one of them has an answer for them, you know?
Like to invite you to stay tuned for our Bowen Pharmacy postgame show at the end of the game. Again, to recap quickly on the scoreboard, Vikings 14, Grizzlies 13. 5:19 to play in the game. We aren't sure what down it is, as they're going to say third down, as I believe that is correct. Could I be wrong? Yes, but I believe that is correct. Third down and goal for the Vikings at the Grizzlies 7-yard line. Here we go. Trey Mack and company on the field. Jamarian Washington back in the ball game. As they're going to rush to the line, Grizzly defense isn't quite set. Here's the snap. Mack rolls out, looking for Wheat. He's open. Touchdown Parsons, as we will see if they go for 2, as I would in a heartbeat if I was Coach Scheibe. Labette's defense, man, that was a tough sequence for the Grizzlies, as they weren't ready for anything right there.
I think this is a big mistake by the Vikings to go for 1 here. You got to go for 2. You got to. There's no reason not to go for 2 right here.
As you're happy if you're Holtzman and the Grizzlies, because you had to score a touchdown regardless. The only difference would be going for 2 and forcing overtime rather than winning in regulation. As this is a gift. Snap, place, kick, perfect. 21-13 is the score. 5:11 to go, Holtzman and company. Parsons left a crack in the door. We'll see if Holtzman's offense can walk through it in 30 seconds on KLKC.
V93.5 is your home for the best variety of the 80s, 90s, and today. Get your day started with the Anna and Raven Morning Show. You're the judge during couples court. Couples share their disagreement, and then you decide who's right. Think you know pop culture trivia? It could pay off, and you score the cash jackpot when you play Can't Beat Raven. Crowds in the House get you home every weekday afternoon starting at 2. Stream us anytime, anywhere at KLKCRadio.com.
Twenty-one 21-13, Vikings on top of the Grizzlies. As Labette County's offense will have a chance to go down and try to tie this game, they will need a 2-point conversion to do so. 5:11 on the clock. Here's the kick by Queer, and it's a wobbler that goes out of bounds. That's a penalty.
That's a big mistake there by the kicker, Jace Queer, and as that's going to set up the Grizzlies with great field position on a drive that they must have good field position on, as it is such an important part of the point in the game. 5 minutes left. We talk about the mature Kendall Holtzman that we saw last week. You know, came down, was clutch down the stretch. We've got to see that here.
As we were wondering where the ball was placed if that happened, and our question is answered. It's placed at the 35, as that is huge, as you have plenty of time, 2 timeouts. Time isn't really the factor. If anything, you want to wind it down should you get down inside the red zone. Jackson is the back behind Holtzman. That's been the normal set this evening. Ball's in the middle of the field, 2 receivers right and left. Stoppage of play as Lane Simmons is being forced out of the game by the official, maybe an equipment technicality or something of the sorts.
As sophomore number 60, Bryson Dickens trots on to take the snap here.
As a center is such a vital piece of an offensive line, we'll see if Dickens can deliver a clean snap. 1st and 10, Grizzlies 35, down 8, 5 minutes to go in Parsons. Good snap, Holtzman rolls out to his right. He didn't really need to roll out, and he's going to be sacked, as he could have stayed in the pocket.
Yeah, as there's a Viking slow to get up, or not even get up, maybe cramping or something.
Tying his shoe, I believe.
Oh, well, I don't know. I didn't see anything, Jack. Sorry. But, yeah, Holtzman, you know, he's been pressured all night, and you wonder, he's had some success with that, and he knew he needed to make a play. That's where he can't do that, you know, it's where that awareness comes in.
2nd down and 17 for the Grizzlies. His man just, Parsons has had the foot on the gas rather than the other way around. Here's Holtzman. He's going to be nearly sacked again and forced to throw it away. They're looking for intentional grounding.
He's outside of the pocket.
And no flag thrown. Holtzman stays on his back for a second, help to his feet. We hope Kendall's okay. That brings up 3rd and 17. Grizzly offensive line has struggled in the second half.
And you know, I don't think you can go for it if you don't get this. I don't think you had 3 timeouts. You give him the ball right here.
2 timeouts.
Or 2 timeouts, yeah. You give him the ball here. It's in Jace's range. He makes one, you're out of the ball game. I think you got to trust your defense and punt it.
We'll see how close Labette gets. Should they complete a pass here? Holtzman remains in the game, seems to be okay. Holt to the right side with Phillips. Or pardon, that's Nash. Here's the snap. He's pressured again, steps up, delivers a good one, and it is intercepted by Parsons at the 40. First interception of the year by Kendall. And he's going to be brought down about the 38, and this game has not unfolded very well for the Grizzlies.
Ball game's not over still, though, right?
It's not over yet, but boy, does that swing the percentage a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Vikings have just made more plays down the stretch, and if you're the Grizzlies, the line has to shake. There has to be something, you know. You got to get some push or something. You got to go back. You don't win the game, you got to look back and find out what's wrong, what's going on. Why aren't we winning at the line of scrimmage? So we've just been getting pushed around up front, to be quite honest with you, Jack, and it's something that has to change if you want to win ball games like these.
You said, as we'll go ahead and call this play here, here's Mack with the give to Washington, looks to be healthy. He stood up and dumped. Gain of nothing for the running back, 2nd and 10. As the flag's going to fly in the backfield, Parsons is acting like that's going to be on Altamont. But I don't know. It looked to be Chris Stevens involved in some extracurricular activity there.
This is such a backbreaker if it's on the Grizzlies.
As it is going to be on Labette County, as that's a play where you can't be okay with. If they beat you, fine. But the second that you begin, and I didn't see what happened, but I'm speaking in principle.
Yeah, no.
If you let them in between your ears, that's when you've been beaten in a way you never should be beaten by your opponent.
That really drains your chances right there.
The ball's at the 18-yard line, as
not.
Labette's let it kind of unravel badly here in Parsons.
I think that one broke the camel's back on that one.
3:50 in the game. Vikings up 21-13. Washington, the halfback, to the left hip of Mack. As you need a turnover and just try to strip the ball. I doubt they throw it. No reason to.
Yeah, they're just going to let the clock run down to about 5 seconds maybe or something like that. As it feels like a very long play clock compared to, you know, what you usually get.
It certainly does, as there's 8 seconds left. Mack's going to have to get ready and snap it with 3:20 to go. He snaps it at 4. Here's Washington. Met at the line. Nice job by the Grizzly defensive front. 2nd down and a long 8 coming up for Labette County. 2 timeouts for Coach Price, but again, you said it. They kick a field goal, make it, game's over. Score a touchdown, game's over. So they're already in field goal range, so all you can do is try to force a turnover or just make the field goal as long as possible for Queeran.
Definitely, and I don't think you call a timeout right now, but if you get another stop like that one on this next down, I think you have to take one. So unlike the higher leagues, there's no 2-minute warning.
Right. 2nd and a long 9. Washington the back again. He was shaken up earlier, but looks to be okay. They're going to fake it to him and throw it, and it's caught by Wheat. Tries to shake a defender, goes to the ground. He was holding the football with one hand. Nice opportunity for Labette to swipe it out of his right palm, but they couldn't get there in time. About a 3-yard gain. 3rd down and mid coming up for Parsons, as Labette's going to call a timeout, I believe, as the clock has stopped with 2:21 left on it. as that is going to be a timeout. Labette will be back in 30 seconds on KLKC.
Day & Zimmerman, one of the largest privately owned companies in the U.S. with operations across the country and internationally. We are comprised of multiple brands that put people to work, protect our freedoms, and improve the world. The Parsons, Kansas location has manufactured munitions for over 50 years for our country's warfighters. Day & Zimmerman has immediate openings for production operators starting at $18.02 an hour on our weekend crew. Work a 12-hour day shift Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and receive 40 hours of pay. We also offer competitive benefits. Apply today.
Third down and 6 for Parsons. The men in blue and gold trot onto the field to face our Grizzlies that are on their heels. Ball's on the left hash. We'll see what Parsons elects to do. I doubt they try to line up Queer, and they're going to try to go for the first down and put it away. Washington to the right of Mack. Washington just visibly so much bigger than Mack, as Jamarian is a big, solid running back. Wheat in motion, gets it on the jet sweep. We haven't seen that a lot, and he's brought down before the first down. In fact, he only gained a couple. Fourth down and about 4, as I hope Parsons goes for it, because I have more faith we can stop him on 4th, because I think Queeran can knock this field goal through.
Yep.
Madison Hoppus on the tackle for Labette. Another timeout, Labette. That stops the clock at 2:18. Vikings lead 21-13. Last timeout for the Grizzlies. As what are you doing, John, if you're Coach Scheibe? Ball's on the right hash.
I think you're trusting Jace here. I don't see any reason not to.
I agree.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. You're still up 8, right? But, I mean, it's one of those things. You knock it through, game's over. You don't, so be it. Game's still probably going to go in your favor.
As he is going to kick it. As the ball's on about the 9-yard line. That's about a 24-yarder roughly. The ball's going to be snapped out to the 21. Here's the snap, the hold, the kick, and it looks perfect, and it is. Nice kick by Jace Queeran as he gets some hugs from the sideline. Great kicker in Jace Queeran. 24-13 the score, 2:13 to go in the game. Things are looking very poor for your LC Grizzlies. We'll be back in 1 minute on KLKC.
Hi, I'm Shelby, one of the pharmacists at Bowen Pharmacy. Not only do we keep you up to date on your COVID and flu vaccines, but we also offer pneumonia, shingles, hepatitis, meningitis, tetanus, and whooping cough vaccines. Based on the latest CDC guidelines, we can recommend the vaccines to keep you and your family healthy. Thank you for always choosing Bowen Pharmacy. We're here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
Labette on the kickoff return. Going to be returned out to about the 33-yard line on the return for Labette County. Madison Hoppus had a nice tackle on the drive moments ago when Parsons knocked it through from about 30 yards out roughly. Jace Queeran on the kick to extend it to an 11-point Viking lead with 2:06 on the clock. Labette has to score within the next 60 seconds and then get an onside kick and do it again. We'll see if they can. Here's Holtzman on the field. Ball is off-centered to the left. Labette working the field left to right. Parsons with a deep, deep safety as here's a slant pass thrown in the dirt to nobody. He had Nolan Nash and Lawrence Holt wide open, and I don't know if he could decide who to throw it to.
I just think Nolan saw Cade Brown, the linebacker, coming over to put a looking on him, and he just didn't go for the ball. If I'm being quite honest, that's what I saw happen on the play. As that's a good ball by Kendall to put it out there. It's just no one has to go make that play at this point and take the lumping.
Second down and 10. Labette's been outscored 17-6 in the second half, and Kendall's going to be sacked again. And John, you said it in our halftime show. You said Labette's going to have to win the game in the trenches because Labette was fortunate, in our opinion, we felt like, to be tied at halftime at 7 because Parsons it was evident that they were beating us up front, and they continued to, and it prevailed, and now they're kind of putting it on our O-line.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they just have been just getting a jump on us all night long.
Holtzman's going to let one fly deep left, and it might be intercepted again, and it is. It'll be Parsons back. Yep, Parsons possession at midfield on the interception for the Vikes, making a nice leaping grab. Jamarcus Washington. As now you can just kneel the clock away as Parsons is going to win the renewed rivalry for the second year in a row. Both great games. This one a little bit lower scoring than last year's contest in Altamont. As you can tell how much this game means to these athletes, is got to feel happy for a really good Parsons squad. As they line up in victory formation, Labette County's going to fall to 1-1 on the season. Parsons to 2-0.
Delay of game, nothing.
Delay a game on Parsons. Might as well call this game to the end, right, John?
Yeah.
Minute 28 on the clock as Parsons really they don't have to run a play other than kneeling it. Labette County will host Pittsburgh next week, Friday night, September 15th. That should be a good contest, John, as people think Pittsburgh and think, oh, no way. I'm here to tell you there is a way.
Yep.
As we battled with Pittsburgh on the road, as I was not impressed with the Purple Dragons, I know they're very well coached, and I'm sure they've much improved from last year. But that game, I believe, was tied going into the locker room, and then Pittsburgh kind of ran away with it. But I anticipate a good game in Lucas Field. No disrespect to Pittsburgh, but, hey, kind of going off of last year, and I think Labette's improved a ton since last year.
Yeah.
That game will kick off at 7. Tank Connection pregame show at roughly 9:30, 9:40. As we are at home, so we anticipate our live stream to go much smoother, as hopefully some of you were able to catch all of the fourth quarter here this evening. As it wasn't a pretty fourth quarter, but we thank you for tuning in. As 60 seconds and winding down is the play clock. Vikings are going to win it 24-13 as the game was 7-7 at halftime. As due to the trenches, we're going to say it over and over, Labette's offense couldn't do what they wanted to do. Jamal had some nice creases in the first half, John. In the second half, there were some, especially on that drive where we scored.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Just nothing
It
consistent.
just collapsed.
Just nothing consistent. And that starts with that group up front, that O-line. It really does. Coach Price will tell you the same thing. Any football coach, any fan out there could tell you it starts with the O-line.
Right. As credit Parsons, very athletic and big up front. Good football team. Best of luck to the Parsons Vikings moving forward. As the buzzer's going to sound, as a bit of a breeze picked up in the second half, as we could definitely feel it up here, and the flag started to wave later into the second half. Grizzlies fall 24-13. It was a good one, at least for one half. Started to get a little ugly for our Grizzlies in the second half, and we'll break that down here in 5 minutes. We'll return for our Bowen Pharmacy post-game show.
Labette Community College is meeting the need for an increased demand in qualified radiographers. Our radiography students will train on the latest technology in a hospital simulation environment.
I wanted to be able to go into a career where I could help people. And if you're going to go into that field in this part of the four-state area, LCC is the only place to come.
Tuition is nearly half the cost of universities. Scholarship and financial aid available for those who qualify. Text radiography to 620-293-6671 for more information or visit labette.edu.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with the free ScoreStream mobile app. Just download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video from your game and your rivals. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
At Labette Community College, we're passionate about medicine and compassionate about people. Our highly trained instructors provide innovative career-specific education in the field of diagnostic medical sonography. Do you already have an associate or bachelor's degree in healthcare? Earn an additional certification in sonography. LCC offers a 12-month completely online program with a clinical component. In as little as 1 year, specialize in OB, abdomen, or vascular. For more information, text pound SONO to 620-293-6671 today. Apply online at labette.edu.
V93.5 is your home for the best variety of the 80s, 90s, and today. Get your day started with the Anna and Raven Morning Show. You're the judge during couples court. Couples share their disagreement, and then you decide who's right. Think you know pop culture trivia? It could pay off, and you score the cash jackpot when you play Can't Beat Raven. Krause in the House gets you home every weekday afternoon starting at 2. Stream us anytime, anywhere at KFKCRadio.com.
With many years of combined experience, Eye Care Associates of Parsons has set the framework in providing comprehensive eye health examinations for all ages and routine vision care for families throughout the four-state area. Our optometrists and staff provide remarkable care with state-of-the-art technology to help with diagnosis and management of eye health conditions. Give us a call or visit our website to schedule your next eye exam. Eye Care Associates of Parsons. Experience modern eye care.
Everybody is different. Some get injured, while others simply wear down. Whether it's on the court, on the field, or at the gym, Labette Health's orthopedic and sports medicine team has the training and skill to repair, restore, and renew. We share the same goal, and together we'll write your comeback story. For more information about Southeast Kansas' leading orthopedic and sports medicine team, go to labettehealth.com.
Welcome back, Grizzly fans, as we were certainly hoping to have a bit more upbeat Bowen Pharmacy post-game show, but Labette does fall on the road to the Parsons Vikings by a score of 24-13. Again, this is the Bowen Pharmacy post-game show. Jack Leake, John Kohler with you on the call. This game was 7-7 at halftime. John, you called it in kind of a passive way. If you're not winning a game in the trenches, at some point it will prevail, and it did for the Parsons Vikings.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm going to use a boxing term here. I mean, they just kept going to our body over and over again. It wasn't just the right hook to the, the jaw or something that killed us. It was just consistent beatings right in the body, of that offensive line, the defensive line. We were just getting moved,
We got some bugs crawling on us, don't we?
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I mean, if you can't block or defend yourself, I should say, those body shots, eventually, I mean, it's just, you're going to lose. It's just one of those things. We saw it all last year. Sure, we put up some points, but man, we were getting gashed, and we got gashed tonight a little bit. As they just kept moving the ball, and offensively, as we saw, we just couldn't run the ball. We couldn't throw the ball very well because of the pressure that was in Kendall's face all night.
Yeah, as it didn't really have the best juju. The game started out fine. Labette goes up 7-0, but as halftime started to creep closer and closer, you could feel that something was off.
The cracks were showing.
Correct. And they certainly were exploited, and Parsons just kept prying. But hey, this is a good Parsons team.
Yeah.
Good Parsons team. Some outsiders looking in might think, a 3A beat a 4A. But no. I
mean, Parsons is 4A not that long
Parsons
ago.
is a good football team, and look, I know Labette County doesn't care. This is a game that, in their mind, they should have come in and won. This is a good Parsons football team, and we certainly wish the best for them. Well-coached team, highly talented, with some players that very well might go on to play in college at the next level. As it doesn't look like Coach Price is going to make his way up here, we'll still chat a little bit and see if he does start to waltz his way up to us. But Labette County does host Pittsburgh next week at home. This is a Pittsburgh team that I'll try to get some scores for you, but they were trailing Chanute at home by a score of 14-0. But, John, we saw a different style from Pittsburgh last season as they ran a lot of I formation, not a lot of spread offense. It was an interesting scheme from the Purple Dragons last year.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my mind's blanking on me, but the former strength coach at Pitt State football, he's their head coach, Josh something, starts with an L, but I don't know the name. But yeah,
Latimer, maybe?
Latimer, yeah. He brought in a new style of Pittsburgh football, which is something you've seen in previous decades, and they kind of went away from it these past couple years, but last year they brought it back. It's this wishbone, wing tee sets, and I mean, they got very good at it down the stretch of the year, and they even won a playoff game. I know when we saw them, they didn't look like that same old Pittsburgh. They really didn't. I mean, when we saw it, we were in the game with them. We didn't get blown out like in years past. So I think, we bring back a lot of guys. We didn't lose a ton of guys last year, but I think it's going to be a fight next week, and I think we're going to see what this Grizzly team is made of. How do you bounce back from such an emotional, just draining defeat like this one? And you got to see what kind of heart you got next week. You really do.
Mulvane, it does. It absolutely does. It's a completely opposite feeling from what these guys were experiencing 7 days ago at this hour. And so I think, John, I obviously wish we would have won this game, but it might create a creature that's even better than these guys could have imagined, because you're coming off of a high that you haven't felt in your life. And then you take a lump and have to swallow a big-time horse pill on the road against a team that wants to beat you so badly. You want to beat him so badly. I'm not a big fan of the rivalry talk. but it's certainly different. You know that. Everyone knows that. It's different. It's fun. But they're going to have to swallow one hard and take some lumps and get back and grind and practice next week. And so this could make this team better in the long run, as they've yet to play a league game, John Kohler.
Yep.
We haven't played a league game. So those are coming up for sure. Mulvane does beat Independence 21-14. Mulvane starts the season 2-0. Both wins against Coffeyville in our league and now Independence in our league. I don't see any other finals. I don't have a final of the Pittsburgh-Chanute game, but really
Chanute's really good.
Yeah, Chanute's a good squad.
This year.
They're always deep, well coached, and very mature. Even if they are underclassmen, very mature kids up there in Chanute. But yeah, I mean, John, there's not a whole lot to chew on in this one. It was what it was. You could feel it wanting to bleed Parsons' direction, and it eventually did. Labette's run game never clicked how they wanted it to. Holtzman had some deep balls go his way and others that couldn't just be snagged. A lot of good talent on display, and I still say these teams are awful close to equal. A little bit of a hedge to Parsons in those trenches. John, any final words to wrap up our Bowen Pharmacy postgame show?
Yeah, I think the Grizzlies, I mean, I don't think they want to talk about this one too much. I don't think you can because it's just such an emotional, draining game. I think you acknowledge it, you go over the film and you look at it, but you don't hammer these kids too hard next week. So they care about this, and it just sucks. So I think you just got to get ready for Pittsburgh as soon as possible.
That'll be next week, a week from tonight, around 6:30. Tune in for that Tank Connection pregame show. But for tonight, that'll do it from Marvel Park. Labette Falls 24-13. Jack Leak, John Kohler, Caleb McKee on the broadcast. We'll talk to you next week. Good night, Grizzly Nation. And as always, God bless.